Hey everyone, welcome to the show. I have more good news for you today. MAGA land is freaking out. They are freaking out and it is delicious. I have so much fun stuff to share with you guys in this video. So you have to stay tuned to the end because MAGA operatives are finally realizing that Donald Trump screwed them with this war and they are sending up SOS flare signals. One of them has now apparently turned into a socialist or a communist, and they're begging Trump to do what they slammed Joe Biden for doing. So stay tuned for that. And at the end, I'm going to explain the one thing, or I guess a couple things, that has them in this panic. So, first, take a listen to what this MAGA loving pollster said on Fear News Network, of all places.
Right now, I'll tell you, Sean, it's too early for us to say. I'm concerned about one thing, and that is Republican turnout. In Georgia, Democrats turned out 150,000 more early voters than Republicans in the red state of Georgia. That's not a good sign to me. I think more has to be done now to lay the groundwork. And I also say one other thing. I don't think enough of President Trump's achievements are being put out there for the general public to see. They see this mirage that's created by the liberal media. They hear nothing but war. The president has achieved phenomenal things, including, by the way, the stock market hitting another record, I think, today. But you don't hear about it. And I think the Republicans need to start making that case, whether they have to buy ads or whatever, right now, because it's going to be too late in October and November.
Ah, yes, the messaging. It's just the messaging, you guys. If only the voters knew about what Trump was doing. I mean, that's what we always say, but they're not achievements. And Guy, I hate to tell you, but they do know. They absolutely do know. That's why his polling is shit. And then, as you heard there, he cites what again? The stock market. Always with the freaking stock market, which, number one, the only thing that Trump has to do with the stock market and how high it is negative. It's actually a negative thing. Yes, the stock market is hitting all-time highs. You know why? Because he is making all of his greedy bastard wealthy oligarch friends and donors wealthy beyond their imagination because number one, he refuses to regulate them, refuses to regulate anything having to do with AI or businesses that are polluting our country and the world. He's started this needless war. So it's sent crude oil prices skyrocketing. And so they're making money hand over fist. So, I mean, you pointing out the stock market isn't really the own you think it is, Guy. It's a cell phone. And not cell phone, but self own. Anyway, just wanted to make sure that came out right. So that was just the first panic. That was the first panic attack I have to share with you. Now check out what this Trump-loving conservative said on CNN. This is almost unbelievable.
The problem is that the American people who voted for Donald Trump are hurting. They are bearing the cost of this war. He has to somehow alleviate the pain and the suffering of working class Americans. In my view, the best way to do that is a stimulus check. I think he needs to give people a tariff rebate in order to get them through the summer months.
A tariff rebate?
Yeah, tariff rebate.
How about just get rid of the tariffs?
Well, we brought in 200.
Weren't you an advocate for the tariffs?
Yes, exactly.
So then why are you asking for a rebate?
That's exactly what a rebate
is. You can't give a stimulus check why you haven't done anything.
We brought in $200 billion in tariffs, and we should now take some of that money and give it to Americans who are struggling to pay for gas and groceries.
Yeah. Isn't it funny? I mean, these people are unreal. Like, all of a sudden, they become socialists and communists when they screw things up, and then they need a way to get out of it. But when Biden sent out checks to help people during a global pandemic, when the entire world was locked down, oh, you're a socialist. Oh, see, Biden caused this inflation. This is why we have inflation, because he was just handing out money to everybody. Really? And then what happened? I thought we were all already supposed to get these checks, right? What wasn't everyone supposed to get these tariff checks? What happened to them? And oh my God. So, now checks are good. Checks good when Trump is in office, even though inflation is already sky high, but let's throw gasoline on that fire. Like I said, they're in a full-blown panic and meltdown. And here is one of the reasons why. So this is the most recent Economist YouGov poll. This is even more recent than the one that I showed you. I think it was on Monday. So as you can see here, Trump just hit a record high disapproval rating of 61%. 6 out of every 10 voters, a little bit more, now say, I disapprove of him. And it pretty much in every poll, even MAGA friendly polls, conservative pollsters are bringing him in the mid to high 30s. It's pathetic. And then check this out. So this is the same question. This is approval or disapproval. But as you can see here, it's broken down by their 2024 vote and as well as their ideology, because not everybody who's a conservative is MAGA, right? Or, some are moderate, some are more conservative, some are more liberal. Same thing with actual leftists. So as you can see, if you look over, the first columns, of course, are the total and then Harris. But if you look at the third column, you see there's 18% of the people who voted for Trump in 2024 now disapprove of him. And then if you follow that line all the way to the far right, those are people who consider themselves MAGA. 9% of the people who consider themselves MAGA now disapprove of him. And then look at this next one. So this is the same question, but this is their party ID. So 96% of Democrats, 71% of independents, and 16% of Republicans disapprove of Trump. They disapprove of his job performance. 71% of independents, you guys. You can't get any higher than that, I don't think, with independents. Like, I don't think it's possible. So more than 7 out of every 10 voters now say, yeah, the guy sucks. So, and that's just one pollster. Fox came out with their latest poll, and oh my God, is it bad news for the Republicans? So this is what they reported on their main page. Says Fox News poll, Democratic unity, Republican crossovers shape Ohio Senate race. So their MAGA candidate is losing in the blood red state of Ohio, you guys. And what they're saying here is Democrats are picking up some Republican votes. And in that article, they pointed out that Trump won this state by 11 points in 2024. He won it in all 3 elections that he's run in. So, I mean, this is really bad. And now he is underwater by 15 points in Ohio. Here's what they wrote about it. They said by a 15-point margin, Ohioans view Trump negatively. 42% hold a favorable opinion and 57% an unfavorable one. That's more than a 20-point swing compared to his +6 net positive rating, 52 to 46% in the November 2024 Ohio Fox News voter analysis election survey. That is really key because Trump always said, oh, well, Fox News is always a bad poll for me, blah, blah, blah. No, not true. Not true. So it goes on to say the poll of Ohio voters released Wednesday finds Trump's ratings are about on par with views of Republican incumbent Senator John Husted, 41% favorable, 50% unfavorable, while challenger and former Ohio Senator Brown is viewed significantly more positively, 53% versus 44%. So, the former Ohio Senator Brown, who they're referring to, if you aren't aware, is Sherrod Brown. That is the Democrat who's running against John Husted, the Republican. So Sherrod Brown is just wiping the floor with him because people know him. They liked it. I mean, when he used to be the senator there, they liked what was happening. And so they appreciated him. And so look at where they stand. This is a head to head of the two candidates. So Sherrod Brown, 53%, and then Husted is down at 45. So he has Sherrod Brown has an 8-point lead. So it's well outside of the margin of error, which is plus or minus 3% or 3 points. And then look at this one. So their polling shows that being too closely aligned with Trump is now considered to be negative in Ohio. That is such a huge reversal. So that's the Senate race. The Ohio governor's race, though, that is way closer. So the Democrat is up by only 1 point. That's a toss-up at this point because that's within the margin of error, obviously. If I had to guess now, at this point, I would say we're going to see a lot of split tickets. We're going to see a lot of split ticket voters. The reason I say that is I think that there's a lot of independents and maybe even some Republicans who want to see Sherrod Brown in the Senate. They want him there to act as a check on Donald Trump because of what he's doing with the economy and the war and everything else. But I think that they would prefer a Republican in charge of their state, which unfortunately is Vivek Ramaswamy, scumbag. So anyway, we'll see. And then I want to share this last one with you. This is a Republican warning. So take a look at this. This was an article in Politico. They were down, I guess they did go down to Iowa. They were talking about the Iowa race there. They were breaking down all the results from the election on Tuesday night. There was a primary, if you weren't aware. And there was kind of a shock defeat. So there was a Trump-endorsed gubernatorial candidate who lost. He lost to the more moderate, traditional Republican. And the Democratic candidate for Congress said this. He said, "We're leading the nation in farm foreclosures, farm suicide rates skyrocketing. And so the Trump signs and Trump flags are coming down because they say we've been betrayed." So that's his take, but he lives there. So, I assume he's not making that up. And then they also spoke with a man named Drew Klein. So he is the regional vice president for a conservative group that you've probably heard of. It's called Americans for Prosperity. So Klein told them, quote, "The reality is, if voters do not trust the Republican elected officials and candidates with the future of the economy, they're not going to vote for them this November. That is what is going to decide the election in November." So that spells doom. Like if he's right, if that's what it's all about, which it seems that it is, they're done because Iowa farmers have so many reasons now not to trust Republicans on the economy. The vast majority voted for Trump, and their lives have now become exponentially harder ever since he took office. And it's because of the tariffs. It's now because of the war. As I've mentioned so many times before, it's not just gasoline prices that are rising. There's also, you have this shortage of fertilizer. They can't get fertilizer because it can't make it through the Strait of Hormuz. So they're paying astronomical prices for what they can get, and then they're short. So, I mean, it's directly affecting their pocketbook in many, many ways. Trump's presidency, I should say. So anyway, guys, there's the good news for Democrats. We'll see how things transpire over the next 5 months or whatever it is, but it's not going to get better. It's not. Like I keep saying, even if the war ended today, we still have months and months after that before everything starts moving and everything gets settled out. And we're now at the bottom of the barrel on our oil supply. So, All right. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please donate if you can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.